on the dais and off the dais, and to all my fellow males present here. So my name is Bhumika and I am a student of IMS Unison University, Dehradun. Before beginning with the topic, I would like to just question you that why we needed the constitution. Why this concept of constitution came for us. Because the preamble which has been held to be the identity card of our constitution is held by an eminent jurist, Nani Palkiwala, says that preamble defines why we needed the constitution, and I would like to highlight it before you. It states that we the people of India have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign socialist secular republic, assuring to all citizens, it is calling all citizens, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, and assuring individual dignity also. It specifically contains the term dignity, individual dignity. So the myth which has been created here that it is nowhere defined, it is nowhere mentioned, is busted on this very spot. Because preamble itself is the quintessence of the entire constitution, and the reason it has contained the term dignity itself clarifies that how important it is for the constitution makers that they have inserted this term dignity. Even K.M. Munshi, one of the members of the Constituent Assembly, has said that dignity lies to the heart of the constitution. It is sacred. Individual dignity is termed as sacred by him. Now moving forward, that which articles, as already stated by my worthy opponents, that how various decisions of the Honorable Court has pointed about the individual dignity and human dignity. Even the term human, in human rights also, UDHR, was termed by Hansa Mehta, who was an Indian. So how can we say that in India, we are not recognizing human dignity as a fundamental right and a mere constitutional value? Because if we can think of human at that point of time, when our constitution was not framed, then why not we would incorporate it in our constitution? Now the question comes that some people say that it is not properly defined, it is vague, and we cannot just out of air define it and bring it into the scope of fundamental rights. To this contention, I would like to cite certain judgments. First judgment is of Francis Corley Moulin versus Delhi administration, in which it has been categorically stated by the Honorable Supreme Court that in Article 21, right to life and personal liberty, the term personal liberty includes right to individual dignity. However, a minimalist approach has been taken to individual dignity. By minimalist approach, I mean that they say that what is individual dignity? Individual dignity here implies that a dignity which can be satisfied or which can be fulfilled by the resources available. And that resources available depends on the economic development of the society. So DPSPs are also correlated here, because DPSPs, through DPSPs we would be ameliorating our economic development. Now, let me cite another example. In Chameli Singh versus State of UP, the court gave the maximalist approach to the individual dignity. The court said that individual dignity means such kind of things which helps in making a person cultured, like improving the personality of a person. Likewise, in Mohini Jain versus Union of India, the court stated that individual dignity is dependent on the personality of the person. Like by developing the personality of the person, individual dignity can be assured. So therefore, education is very important to ensure that individual dignity is prospered. Now, I would also say that individual dignity and human dignity is not confined to some places. Like some say that for children it is for all, even for prostitutes. It has been recognized as a legal profession. This shows that individual dignity is gaining a huge respect from the side of the honorable judges and the honorable court. You might have heard about the transformative constitutionalism and constitutional morality. What it is? It is all a means to secure individual dignity and human rights to the people of our country, which has been recognized as a fundamental right. Even in Sabrimala case, the court, the Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud has made this point clear that that the transformative constitutionalism should be looked through the prism of individual dignity. So this highlights how important it is to see individual dignity in fundamental rights. Or at the same time, we are not talking about cultural morality no more. We are not talking about cultural morality. We are talking about constitutional morality. If we look to Gaurav Jain case, in which it was said that even the children of the prostitute should be recognized and should be given equal treatment to the normal students. And also in other cases, such as recently the decriminalization of the homosexuality, in this Joseph Shine case, all these have like transcended the idea of cultural morality and has paved the way for the coming up of the constitutional morality. So I would like to conclude by saying that it is mere a constitutional value is no more standing today because it has gained. And even the Supreme Court has said that now we demand transformative constitutionalism, which demands that we should focus on individual dignity as a fundamental right. Thank you.
Questions, please. Yeah, please get up.
Constitutionalism. Ma'am, the whole idea of transformative constitutionalism is that we need to instill the principles of dignity and liberty. Ma'am, transformative constitutionalism talks about principles. Isn't that contradictory with your own speech that you are saying that it is a right? While the whole idea that you are making, the whole base that you are making, it puts it as a principle and as a idea and as a value.
Thank you so much for your question. I hope you have heard me well. I meant to say that when D.Y. Chandrachud, our honorable judge, says that now the time has come that we should move to transformative constitutionalism, keeping in mind the individual dignity at the core, at the heart of the constitution. He even goes on to saying that transformative constitutional implies that now we should focus on constitutional morality and not just cultural morality. And at the same time, it is very important to note that when we talk about constitutional morality, we talk about focusing on the implementation of the fundamental right to their fullest. And when I say to their fullest, to transform the society in a better way, it brings individual dignity within the scope of the fundamental rights. I hope you get my point.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, another question on the same aspect is that you mentioned the case of Chameli Singh versus State of UP, 2005. Ma'am, in that case, it was held that a right to shelter will only be a fundamental right if it is a prerequisite, essential and quintessential thing. Now, ma'am, do you believe that dignity does dignity surpasses other rights? Because if you go by colorable, harmonious constructions, then they should all be on the same level. But if you're talking about the judgment that was given in Chameli Singh, then you're contradicting yourself, ma'am.
No, I'm not contradicting myself. Even in later judgments, which I was not able to put forth because of the paucity of the time, even in Aadhaar judgment, it has been clearly laid that that privacy of not just the individual was protected, but of the entire community was protected. So the community interest was also taken into account, and at that point of time, the interpretation of the individual dignity was a communitarian dignity, like human dignity, not just include human in it, not just a person, it includes the humanity within it. So that is my point here. And for humanity, whatever seems good, to protect the dignity of the humanity, that should be done.
Right, ma'am. But ma'am, don't you think that our constitution, when it talks about fundamental rights, it gives fundamental rights to individual. There is no talk of community in fundamental rights. If my fundamental right is violated, I will go to the court. I am not here taking the weight of all the community on my shoulder. You are saying, ma'am, please let me complete. Ma'am, you are saying that human dignity in case Puttaswamy case, privacy, Aadhaar case, it was talked in terms of community. Ma'am, my simple question is that I am talking about, when I talk about fundamental right, I talk about individual rights. And again, ma'am, in the case of Joseph Shine, which you quoted, in the case of Joseph Shine also, ma'am, it was held that it is the dignity, if a law works in such a manner that it breaks the dignity of women in a community, only then it would be unconstitutional. In both these cases, ma'am, the unconstitutionality of the right comes when it is talked in sense of community, and fundamental rights are enforced against individuals, but for the individual, against state, but for the individuals.
Thank you for the question, but I beg to say that you have you have deviated from certain law aspects. First of all, you have said that only an individual can claim fundamental right. I would like to give you.
Ma'am, I beg to differ. I did not say that. I said that individuals can also claim fundamental rights.
Well, you said that community can't claim.
Ma'am, I beg to differ. I did not say
You
that.
didn't say that.
I beg to differ.
Okay, then no need to answer on it.
No, ma'am, but still my question is not answered. I'm sorry, maybe you're taking the sarcastic approach. My question was that when you are saying that in the Aadhaar case or in the transformative constitutionalism that you talk about, the constitutional memorality of the whole nation, of the whole state is being taken into consideration. Where does the individual right come into place there? What is the play of individual right in such a big jurisprudence and philosophical statement?
Individual is the basic need of the society. I don't understand.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Question. Okay, we'll just wait. You had a question.